Hi, I'm Deborah, and this is Kids to Cuisine, where there are recipes, tips, tricks, hints, and hacks to help people of all ages learn their way around the kitchen. Today, I'm going to enjoy a glass of citrus fruit iced sun tea. I love iced tea. It is the easiest and most delicious drink for a hot summer day. Fortunately, I live where we get sunshine pretty much all year round, and I can actually make this tea on a -40 winter day. Intrigued? Watch to the end of the video for the bonuses, as well as hints, hacks, tips, and tricks. I make my tea in batches of 2.5 liters or 2.5 quarts because that's the size of glass pitcher that I have right now. It is easy to make and only needs a few basic items. Ring the bell to receive notifications of the videos as they upload every Monday and Thursday. And please follow me on Facebook or on Twitter. I've also used canning or mason jars. The most important item is a scrupulously cleaned glass container. If you use or reuse a glass container, make sure it is scrupulously clean and preferably sterilize it beforehand. I also use filtered water. Here's the tip. Using filtered water, a scrupulously even sterilized glass container, and scrubbing the fruit under clear water will minimize contamination and cross-contamination issues. Now for the important part. No, not the tea, the fruit. The tea is important too, don't get me wrong, and like the fruit, it can be swapped around depending on what you have on hand or what's ripe in the area that you're at. Recently, I've been using a half grapefruit, a large lemon, 3 clementines, and a lime. Tell me what you think in the comments below. You can experiment with different fruits and different teas. I also add a few gratings of nutmeg, about a half a teaspoon or 2.5 milliliters, and 6 to 10 tea bags. Here's a hint. The number of tea bags depends on several things. How strong the tea is when it's steeped, and how strong you like your tea. I'm currently using 8 tea bags of an orange pekoe that brews up strongly flavorful. I also use Earl Grey, as I love the floral notes it brings. If you use loose tea, here's a hack. You can make your own tea bag for the sun tea by using a square of light cotton or muslin or several layers of fine cheesecloth and a length of kitchen twine. I add about 1/4 cup or 70 milliliters of loose tea to the center of the square. Pull the edges up, making a pouch for the loose tea, and use the twine to tie it tightly to keep all the tea together. I don't recommend a tea ball. It takes up space in your container. It often doesn't allow the leaves to fully develop, and the sachet or pouch is able to release a lot more tea and cuddle into the fruit a little bit nicer. All you need to start is a sunny day and a sunny place to leave the container of iced tea for a couple of hours. Assemble the container, the tea, the nutmeg, the washed fruit, and filtered water. Slice the fruit into thin slices. Don't worry about the pips and don't worry about the slices being perfect. We're going to actually jettison the fruit once the tea is done. Here's a hint to retain as much juice as possible. Use a flexible cutting board. That way you can pour whatever juice is still laying on the cutting board straight into the container. Place the tea in the bottom of the container. Add the nutmeg. Place the sliced fruit in the container. I like to create layers. It doesn't change the taste, but it sure looks pretty. Finally, add the water. Cover the fruit entirely. If the fruit is close to touching the lid, I add a layer of plastic wrap to the rim because my lid is metal and I don't want to get a tang from the acid in the fruit. It's just a precaution. Not necessary, but I like to be safe rather than sorry. I usually leave my tea out in direct sunlight for 2 to 3 hours. Not much longer than that. The tea gets a little darker, but the taste seems to muddy a little bit. Then I take my container of sun tea to the sink. I have another pitcher there. I strain everything out of the first pitcher into the second pitcher. I really like it unsweetened, but if you like it sweeter, here's a great addition to the tea. This is a bonus recipe for ginger simple syrup. If you like the video so far, please tap like, leave a comment, or hit subscribe so you'll never have to miss another video. Simple syrup is simply water and sugar. The proportion is always equal. I use 1 cup each of water and white sugar. You could also use honey, maple syrup, or agave. If you're going to flavor your simple syrup, use about half a part. So in this case, if 1 part is a cup, this is half a cup or 4 ounces, or 125 grams of peeled ginger. And there's a trick to peeling ginger. Just use the edge of a spoon to take off the skin. Once you have the ginger peeled, chop it into chunks and add it to the syrup. Here's a really great candied ginger. You're already on your way to making candied ginger just by having the ginger in your simple syrup. If instead of chunking the ginger, you cut them into batons or thin slices, you are ready to have candied ginger for baking or even just to eat. Once you have the water, sugar, and ginger in a saucepan, bring it to a boil and then reduce the heat to a slow simmer, which means you can see the bubbles come up, but they're not making big bubbles outside the liquid. You can just see them rising from the bottom of the pan. Once the syrup is simmered for 30 minutes, you can strain out the ginger and pour the syrup itself into a pitcher or a container. It will keep in the fridge for about a week. If you want to candy it, we're not quite done yet. Take a bowl of sugar, drop the ginger batons or slices into the sugar. Stir the ginger batons or slices around and then remove them individually onto a cooling rack. Let them dry out. Don't throw out the sugar. It has wonderful flavor, sort of like putting a vanilla bean in a sugar container so that you've got vanilla sugar. Now you've got ginger sugar. I usually set out the sun tea with the ginger syrup on the side and allow my guests to help themselves. Thank you for watching and have a wondrous day.